Please welcome to the stage, Neil Hacker.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be able to speak to you all today. And before I start, I just wanted to share my thanks with all of the organizers for putting on this amazing and very timely event. So I'm here to share with you some announcements about the work Isometric is doing in direct air capture. First, some background. Isometric is a registry for durable carbon removals headquartered out of London. We are a team of scientists and technologists working across pathways such as bikers, enhanced weathering, and the topic of today's talk, DAC. One of the reasons for our founding was a belief that traditional registries have struggled to maintain trust. We heard yesterday about a key objective of the VCM being to simply survive. To extend the baby DAC analogy from yesterday's panel for a moment, we see there being a looming risk that the baby will be thrown out with the bathwater when it comes to high durability CDR being tied to institutions that are struggling to keep trust in their role of quantifying and crediting real climate impacts. Without trust, we risk not creating the confidence buyers need to bring their resources to bear on this crucial climate solution, jeopardizing our ability to scale fast enough and to reach the targets we are told we need to meet. We believe that the next generation of registries must be designed differently. So we have structured our business around scientific rigor, transparency, incentive alignment, and collaboration. Scientific rigor is needed so that we are measuring and verifying companies in ways that accurately reflect their climate impacts. Transparency means that we don't just tell people to trust us. We can show them the processes and the impact of projects so they can judge these themselves. Incentive alignment allows us to focus on quality instead of quantity so we can foster trust in the sector. And collaboration is needed because no single group, company, or government will solve the problem of high-quality MRV alone. Instead, we need to work with groups from academia to sensor developers to industry and bring in the best expertise across all domains. Isometric is already working with groups from national labs to governments and the over 150 scientists in our science network to integrate best practices into all of the work that we do. But we also need input from those on the ground, which means suppliers. Which brings me to the first of our announcements. Isometric is working with companies across the DAC space on a leading protocol that we launched in December of this year. The version 1 will include multiple capture and storage options, such as mineral looping and electrochemical capture, as well as storage options such as in situ and ex situ mineralization. We have a great set of partners in our working group already, and more collaboration is always welcome, so that we invite any company in the room to come and join us on shaping what this protocol should look like. Now, given our position in the market as a registry and the collaborations that we already have, Isometric hears from both suppliers and buyers about what the issues that they want to deal with. From these insights, our protocol not just focuses on all the usual areas, but we are also paying particular attention to some of the areas that are most commonly raised as potential concerns from those on the demand side when it comes to MRV for DAC. One example of this is with energy accounting. Now, many of you may have read some papers from Jesse Jenkins' lab at Princeton that highlight the massive variation in carbon intensities and grid emissions that different methodologies for energy accounting can lead to. It is easy to account for the gross CDR from DAC, but we need to have robust ways of calculating the net CDR, and a big driver of DAC's LCA is from energy use. This is why we are already working with researchers so that our protocol will not just have a framework for how to account for different energy sources by type and by geography, but will also lay out a way to bring in things like power purchase agreements into companies' LCAs in a way that is credible and backed by best practices. Now, as Nicholas mentioned yesterday, today's talks have a theme of outlining where we are and pointing to where we want to be. Now, today, DAC companies are all having to dedicate significant amounts of time, money, and effort to developing their MRV strategies. Tomorrow, we want these companies to be able to focus on building out their facilities and the infrastructure for turning removals into trusted, high-quality credits will almost be taken for granted. Today, we do not have consensus on what direct air capture and storage companies should measure and how this should be accounted for at the protocol level. Tomorrow, we want these companies to clearly know what needs to be measured and how it will impact their net negativity. Today, it can still be a challenge to find out crucial information about projects and their inputs. Tomorrow, we want transparency to be integrated into the crediting process itself, shining a light on removals for buyers and communities. Now, our protocol work aims to move us towards these goals. However, we are not just looking to set a new bar when it comes to protocols, but also in how they are used. Now, Isometric is a registry, but at heart, we are also a technology company, meaning that we are innovating on the full life cycle from measurement collection all the way to credit management. This involves creating both protocols and processes to enable a path for faster verification. What this looks like in practice is that we have started to work on how to turn crediting from a process that happens once a year to one that can happen in weeks or even days. This is something we're excited about across pathways, but we think it has a particular focus for direct air capture, given the quantity of remote measurements that can be taken. Ultimately, we want to help suppliers sell more tons and get to credits faster. One case study of this is the work we are proud to announce with Deep Sky. Now, Deep Sky is a Canadian project developer whose capture facilities implement multiple types of direct ocean and direct air capture technologies. On the DAC side, they utilize a variety of solid and liquid sorbents, and the facilities share common infrastructure where the captured CO2 is liquefied and processed into a high-purity stream. In tandem, a storage provider processes mine tailings to obtain purified source of magnesium oxide. This is then reacted with captured CO2 in an ex-situ reactor, and the carbonation reaction creates a stable carbonate, magnesium carbonate, which is then transported off-site. By developing multiple technologies using shared infrastructure, they aim to get a better sense of the relative performance and scalability of each one. Working with Isometric on their MRV allows Deep Sky to focus on building and testing technologies, while Isometric does the work to make sure all of the technologies from their different DAC facilities, direct ocean capture facilities, and any storage options they use today or in the future will be accounted for properly. You can see more about their process at science.isometric.com. Now, thanks to the support of partners like Deep Sky and other members of our working group, like Heimdall or Mission Zero, we are making fast progress on the first version of our protocol. Ultimately, though, and this is something we've heard from other talks, we believe that collaboration is always the answer. And so for any companies that want to get involved, you can email dac@isometric.com or come find us during one of the breaks. And we are wearing these lovely little pink pins. So I want to say thanks again for all your time, and it's been great to talk to you all. Thank you very much.